tonight in this video I'm going to go over from my article the different types of coffee beans. So here we go. The two different kinds of coffee beans are Coffee Robusta and Coffee Arabica. Humans also use a formula of two of these beans. These two different kinds of coffee beans have a different flavor relying on where and how they are grown. What do you think is the difference in Coffee Robusta versus Coffee Arabica? Do you think types of coffee beans used make a difference? What types of coffee beans do you think are used in the famous New Orleans blend? The answer is a third Costa Rican beans, Guatemalan beans, and Colombian beans. The different kinds of coffee beans I use are like gourmet coffee right in your home. And what I want for me, I want for you in the creative right way. The different kinds of coffee beans used to make the morning coffee every day are possibly of little concern to the average person. But the true coffee aficionado knows the different kinds of coffee beans if for no other reason than to be able to pick out their favorites from among the many available kinds. The two most common kinds of coffee beans used in making coffee are the Arabic bean and the Robusta bean. These two beans are used more than any other kinds of beans, either in their pure form or in coffee blends. That's what I meant. The Coffee Arabica bush is grown all around the world and is the bean that above 70% of all coffee beverages are created from. The Arabica bean is a highly tasty bean that contains fewer caffeine than a Canafor coffee bean, or Robusta, I should say. The different growing regions of the Arabica bean create different tastes in the bean. To sum this up, there are multitudes of Arabica coffee flavors, all from the same kind of bean and all based on where the bean is cultivated. The soil, temperature, weather, and even neighboring foliage could make different flavors in the Arabica bean. For example, Ethiopian Arabica beans are known for their smooth, easy taste with a floral finish, while Kenyan Arabica beans have a more bitter taste. Arabica beans grow in Latin America, have also slightly bitter tasting with a coca flavor and nutty finish. The favorite Arabica beans are grown in Colombia are very bold in flavor with a dark texture and walnut aftertaste. Costa Rica has some of the best Arabica beans. These beans are similar to the ones grown in Brazil, only lighter and sharper flavor. The Canafor or Robusta bean is also grown in many of the same regions. This Canafor or Robusta coffee bean contains greater caffeine than the Arabica bean. The Robusta beans contain less quantity of oil than the Arabica beans, which tend to give them a more Rubbery, which sounds revolting. Why the bad taste? 2. One reason that the Tang isn't as good for Robusta is that it has more caffeine differentiated to Arabica, which may sound like a buoyant thing, but caffeine carries a bitter tang which makes it a troublesome drink. And in fact, the Robusta bean has 2.7% caffeine load, nearly double the 1.5% of Arabica. 3. Lipid and sugar load. Arabica contains nearly 60% more lipids and nearly twice the single-mindedness of sugar than Robusta. Number 4. From a cost perspective, green beans of Robusta is about half the cost of Arabica. Green beans on the artifact market. Robusta versus Arabica, that's why. So number 5, Robusta is uncomplicated to tend on the plantation, has a higher supply, and is less responsive to insects. The additional caffeine is a chemical fortification for the coffee seed, as the amount in the Robusta is virulent to bugs. All of these components help bring up the supply and nether the input cost for farmers to assemble. With this more attractive valuation point, a lot of roasters back in the day would add Robusta to their blend in an attempt to reduce their costs and escalate their yields. When coffee was at first sold in the 1900s, the classification of coffee slowly and without hurrying declined in an effort for corporations to squeeze the most financial gain. Number 6, where you'll discover it. This very day, it's not often you'll discover Robusta in a coffee mix. If you're ingurgitating instant coffee, question mark. Well, that's likely all Robusta, but you likely don't care very much about the tang. In your espresso mix, that's a mixed bag. Word for word. Oddly enough, Robusta is still widely used as part of espresso mixes, specifically Italian-style mixes. It is said to help refine the crema, but generally at a detriment to the tang, which in my opinion the prime concerns may be out of whack. One thing to note is, regardless the association with Arabica of being more loafy quality, and Robusta as being bottom quality. It's not always the case though. Excellent specialty Robusta coffee will usually taste as good as or better than low-end Arabica. But superior Robusta isn't widely used or available. Preferably, Robusta is usually used as a filler or cost reducer. Number 7, the shape. Robusta beans are much more round, whereas Arabica are more elliptical. Number 8, plant height. Arabica usually gets bigger between 2.5 through 4.5 meters, differentiated to the 4.5 to 6 meter height of Robusta. Number 9 is chlorogenic acid content. Something that is actually a part of coffee is CGA. It's an outstanding antioxidant and an insect deterrent. Robusta is 7 to 10% CGA, which is chlorogenic acid content, and Arabica has 5.5 to 8% CGA. Number 10 is cultivation. About 75% of the world's coffee assembly is Arabica, about 25% Robusta. Brazil is the most outstanding Arabica producer, and Vietnam assembles the most Robusta. And again, these are the different types of coffee beans for you. Now, the next topic, which is the summary. If you came here wondering what the answer is to different kinds of coffee beans, then I hope I've answered it for you. I talked about the 4 major types and I talked about the four major types, and finally what are the two major types of coffee beans. As these different types of coffee beans mentioned in my article and in this video of mine are my recommendations from my own research and curiosity, but just that you don't have to do the research from your own curiosity, because it's all right here for you in this video. So that way you don't have to do the hard part. But there are so much more out there. Hope you got something useful out of this. So that is the different kinds of coffee beans, and I hope you enjoyed this video. You all please subscribe to my YouTube channel. That would be much appreciated, and I will be sure to give you all more outstanding content in the future. You all take care. Have a good night if that's where you are and what time it is for you all, and